start as they head down towards Barnacle Bend, and up the exit comes a little part of the lead blades, but he gets his nose chopped off, and it's Middleton who leads downhill from David Allen. As soon as he can. That's what we're seeing him underneath Emily Lati, head towards turn 1 and turn 5. He's back into towards the Stirlings. He's got one long corner to go. And then he comes down to the middle. The team will be celebrating 1-6 on the podium again for the team. It is Emily Lackey's marvellous stuff as we watch on the big screens and live at trackside. The Celtic celebrating on his way out with Emily Lackey. David Allen, I'm going to give him congratulations for that.
We've seen that absolutely perfect, the Ukrainian flag draped around his shoulder. But Emily Larty down here, Emily Aston 2019, the last time you were on a British Championship podium, but obviously that was some race in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't didn't have enough pace compared to the front four guys, but Luke and
Absolutely perfect. Brace yourself, this is a sporting race. This could be good. Any race goes to the front with the whole second race, nobody's feet are walking away from that pushing Matt, who's got in there for a pushing mare, who's got down there, he's up on his feet, looking at the bike. One of these things, you wait all that time to get to Edinburgh Bend and fall in front of them, thankfully with anybody else, as they make their way into Hawthorns. Isn't it great to see Eddie Pate sticking his way through Hawthorns in the lead on that Simpson's Kawasaki, his cast back, as they say, don't really fancy here is Asher Durham and Alfie Davis battling it at the sharp end as they go through the heart of It is Asher Durham, Alfie Davis, Ed Best, Cass Beckett, for Ed to see it just gets past on the run into one of the cases. Still got a penalty next to his name, but it looks like he has completed the long part. He has that. place. Ken Wilkinson was 11th with Zach Shelton, 12th. Lennon Doherty at a season best, 13th. And then Harry Cook, William Smart, Rossi Bannon, Gus O'Neill, Roy Goff, Joe Ellis, and down in 20th place. Take number 18, which is Rossi Bergman, and then for Rossi's first fabulous round start. Cass Beckman's, the t-shirt is on, the standard t-shirt's on, and the team will help him put the special visor on him as well. We have our second champion of the weekend, and I think I'll have a very fitting championship. One at least this has been his struggles with the visor, though unfortunately it doesn't seem to want to come on, so he's going to have to put a bit of a hook on the road. So that's okay, brilliant. At least it's really good to see we're getting here on the big screen. David Allingham, and also a good start from Mr. Landy. It's trouble with the towards Whitney, but the inside, and they all kind of both let themselves up. Just don't put me through the doctor said to you.
Yeah, just be very careful with him, but he's the most uncomfortable thing I think I've ever had. Definitely the worst one.
Well, sit tight, hold on, this will be a fabulous super sport race. We can guarantee you the action there, as we see a very, very pensive Ben Wilson down there for the Performance 15 Gearlink squad. His man on pole position, he set a blistering lap time earlier on. We saw 1:26.871 from Rhys Irwin. If he can do them through the course of the race, nobody will see which way he went. We're under starters' orders. Here we go, Super Sport, sprint race, red lights on, and it's going. It's a cracking start for Oliver Barr and for Ben Curry from the same road again. Curry's going to come through and lead the race in towards turn one. Lovely start from Ben Curry. Oliver Barr goes into P2.
That here on the track, big lead, the lead for Weir is losing, but that's the
West Race 18 have made that line safe, and we are coming through.
Barry Kilbane, and it's a great start from Lewis Blackstock as he heads in there at the number 95. Next year with Timmy. Tim thought, why not just try and get him over ASAP? They did that, but then there was a licensing problem that came through, and it of Ben Burton, and there they go. But it didn't get a very good start. Even having to fight back. Final, but he's already made up 3/4 of the grid as he's winging towards turn number 1, not hanging about on that track all night. Or they would normally have the last chance qualifier, they'll secure the actual Sunday, but the condensed schedule, I held my breath there as we were going into one from bed. The condensed schedule of tomorrow
Bringing you up to speed with the various revisions to those times as we go through the course of the day. But that concludes morning warm-up, so with that, go back to Alan in the studio. Through injury, they are from Capital.
Good launch of the front 12 rows, a good forward funnel as we go. Corner caught napping just a little bit, and that's letting the feeling of coming fall and try and find a way around the exit. Barry Burrow and Johnny Conlon come in towards Drews. Barry Burrow lays the bike across the nose and doesn't seem to be starting to clear off with this one. Only just off from Josh Corner, who's very late and aggressive on the brakes. Paddy, we saw that yesterday. Celebrates in style with the podium and picks up the 2025 Rocket Off BMW F900 R Cup Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, 37 on the Harley-Bell Jones has done it. That was tense. That was super tense and executed so well by Barry Burrow. But let's take nothing away from Josh Corner, a 34.070, the fastest lap of the race. Another main event race victory for Barry Burrow. Well, we picked up the championship under the rolling fun out to now. Very happy to see the checkered flag on the ground. Now the pressure is off, the stress disappears, the excitement can kick in, the jubilation can kick in. Barry Burrow now celebrates with a very, very busy crowd here at Vantage. Barry didn't have it easy. The old Gene Taylor didn't update saying him a bit to Barry Gilbert, kept him through. But that's relief to take the big speed right now. Eddie, that is relief of a championship.
It is, and absolutely super way to finish the season. Absolutely.
Lights on. Go down towards turn number 1 and 2 yards. He's getting a marvellous start and very quickly. Drops the main speed Yamaha. And he climbs up towards the heart of Drew. Scott Ready with a good start into turn. And that is something that will be on the mind of Bradley. You know that he's having wheel spin when he sees the by the defending reigning champion, and he's got his championship flag on top. sensational stuff from Scott Redding and sensational stuff from the defending reigning champion Kyle Wright. And you take nothing away from that man because he laid it all on the line for the entire length. When Kyle came alongside him, he was happy to lay the bike on his side and on his nose. Redding, Wright, Lee, good top three. That could be a championship ride that we'll just see from Kyle Wright.
Dawson would it be better to have the bike in the air at the start of the race if he didn't go anywhere when everybody else went forward. There go our two pit lane starters, much more kind of on it, shelter at end best, takes a very slow Sunday drive away from the pit, and then Jack and Durham head towards top. The British Championship money because it gets full British Championship status next year alongside the Bennetts British Superbikes and alongside the Bennetts British Supersport Championship. What you can't do is down the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend is run it once towards that white line. Stop Ben cutting you that last That's your Robin out up into Sunday. Here we go, and yeah, thankfully it clears itself, so Harrison Crosby down towards turn 1. Myself and Sam Cox are both keeping a very interested in that bike as they launch themselves down through Paddock Hill Bend, and David Allingham is at the front. Slithers his way through on the inside of Ilya Mikhalchik. And through he goes on the Armada Marine Cables Honda, and then down in the background, who's that? That's Dan Brooks, goes down, gets bitten by the 1000cc Master Mark Hawk Honda. That was a slow slide down the head. Yeah. It's always nice with that wet grass, you always slide quite a long way, and it's not too bad. It was a thumping down at the tarmac. He hit the tarmac a bit hard there, yeah. So Dan Brooks goes down very early in the race. He's on his feet, I can see he's walking away. The Port West Race Safe Marshals are there in Brands Hatch, so I'm sure he'll be begging to take a good that was David Allingham. David Allingham was down, he falls off the bike going in. I think that was a lock-up from his front. I think he just went to the bike and got himself in towards the Vector cell. Then David Allingham, that's a very sorry David Allingham down there. Well, you know what, he's given absolutely everything for this championship, and before that talk, he did a little bit of he does the Armada down there on the balcony. Armada Marine Cable still seems to be. But let's try and see a replay of that. David Allingham just, it looks like I think he locked the front wheel and came off the side of the bike because the bike rode itself in to the Rector cell. That great shame for the man on the SMS Nickel Oils BMW M1000RR. He's been the man who's taken towards Ilya Mikhalchik after Luke Mossey was injured and a few other guys. Like, go for one last time. Let's get a champion in Supersport. Ben Cuddy gets the jump from McManus and Irwin down towards Paddock Hill Bend, and Ben Cuddy leads. Jack Kennedy comes siding around the outside of Eugene McManus. Ben Cuddy leads in towards Druids for the first time. He's hot heavy into there though. Does he get it back to the apex? Eventually he does. That was a little bit too keen for Ben on the first lap there, and then he has a bit of a wiggle on the exit. We're down to Graham Hill Bend. Let's watch him for real time. Oh, down goes OB. Oh dear. OB, not to be, he's done to be or not to OB. That's what we're going to have to look at it. He's picking the bike up. What a great shame for they all go. Curry leads, Rhys Irwin is through on the inside of Kennedy comes Joe Talbot. Can he stop that? Yes he can. Lovely move from Joe Talbot. Front row Joe. Jack Kennedy trying to power back up. Having a slight overlap as he goes in towards Druids, and Kennedy comes back. Kennedy will get in that position as they come in towards Graham Hill Bend. Through they come. Behind that, Eugene McManus, who was our pole man, just ahead of the next gaggle of riders, who is Eugene McManus. McManus is where he's in 5th place. Just behind that, we have got Ewan McGlinchey on the XMT track. Then Carter Brown, TJ Thomas, Lucas Brown, Max Wadsworth, Eduardo Colombi, Cameron Fraser and Harry changes to Ben Cunny's bike on the grid as Talbot comes up the inside, but he's too far back with that one to go past Rhys Irwin. But the changes were made on Ben Cunny's bike. There's a real shock to that as well. As you have a rider down at the wreck cell at Paddock Hill Bend. Couldn't see exactly who that was, but they have gone into that. We're going to bring them into the impact out the wall. We'll have to review this marshal towards that end to see if there's something they can do to help out. And looking at this one just now, we're there's a lot of wrecking cell movement in there actually, which is never the greatest thing. As the leaders make their way on towards the back space, there you go, as we watch them going down in towards Hawthorne. And the number 1, which is Paddock Hill Bend. So another lap for the safety car. They were almost perfect there, Alan, but just missed that tiny window of opportunity, unfortunately.
Very, very wet, isn't it? And at the back of the circuit particularly so much standing water. And if you bear in mind, we've only really had a couple of hours of rain, I suppose, but there are proper standing patches of water out in the Grand Prix side so far.
Got it in flat lady, light off that safety car, light bar, which you have the light comes in the grill. There's something out there, but the light bar, as you see, doesn't have any lights on it, so it's Chris Glendenning and Hempton Smith, safety car ending this lap. We'll bring that car in at the end of this lap as you come back into the section clearways. So what this does, it lets Rhys Irwin right onto the back of Ben Cunny, but he was there anyway.
Shaking his head quite a bit there.
Was Rhys Irwin shaking his head?
Yes, he was, yeah.
Maybe he's just not happy with
I'm not sure.
And here comes Joe Talbot. Talbot underneath in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Through goes Joe Talbot and through goes Jack Kennedy. And down goes Eugene McManus into the vector cell. And Eugene McManus lengthened the car. He's now goes to the front on the way in there. He's done a bit of wrecking cell on number 1. He's trying to find the car as well. And Eugene just up to get a bit of help. But Ben Curry goes back to 2nd place. And that 2nd place for him is crucial at this moment in time. He did lead across the line though. That's something that we will see. He led across the line. So as we go on to lap 9 of 15, we keep our eyes firmly on what's happening. The Orange 69 is your champion for 2025. It is Rhys Irwin, and he will be delighted. The Gearlink Garage are hugs everywhere, high fives and you name it. Rhys Irwin rides the race of his life to come through and pick up a championship, and that is what was needed. That was tense. That would not be enjoyable in one way, shape or form.
See the relief, can't you, on the slowdown lap? Wow.
Absolutely, Al. We've been here for many times before as well, as we see pit lane there, the lovely big picture of Norma de Biddulph and Michael de Biddulph in the back of that garage, standing in front of Norma. It means more than just a victory. It means more than a victory. It's a lifestyle, and that's exactly what the Gearlink concern has been for so long. 20 lap race. For one last time in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, we send the bikes off for a warm-up lap around the 2.4 mile circuit off the Brands Hatch Grand Prix. So here we go, you ready for this? All bar 2 riders, the CDH guys, are on the softer rain rear tyres. So there we go, everybody else has gone for that, but the CDH 2 riders, they decided to go for something just a little bit different. You never know what could happen. Jamie Davis and Luke Hedger opting for that harder option, rear rain tyre I should say. Here we go for one last time. Let's make this one work as we look down from the lofty perch here at Brands Hatch across the grid. Alan Wood stands motionless with the red flag. He now moves off the grid and we're about to go for one last time. 20 laps of the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. It's in the hands of the starter. Red light on.
Runs him a bit wide and high, and they all go back to the apex, and Bradley comes out of the corner in the lead. Oh, down in the back was Swanee. Swanee was down in the mid-pack, and hopefully we can miss him off the IWR. What's up? Sylvia comes in as well as that as Payne comes up to that in a second of a Clark curve in towards that area now where Rory went down, and also Christian Eden who went down earlier on of bike number 21, and I would like to say that we don't see Christian Eden on our scoring. Clark curve another big warning for Fraser Rogers. You've had two Fraser. Need to calm that down now. That's two big warnings. One in the back, who's the defending champion, but one right in front of Kyle Wright as they go down in towards 30s. And the second one was much bigger. And what Kyle doesn't want to have happening in this race is a bit will happen to your Dublin in the sport bike class. Something was down in front.
And that was another nail-biter at last. Make a noise, Brands Hatch. You've got a 2025 champion, and it's Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright makes his way down the road here at the famous Brands Hatch circuit. And just step back off because the ticket station is now going right through the how much is the number one place? It's going to be all of them. And Kyle Wright, right down here, in the position of the team. The IPO competition Yamaha and Kyle Wright have retained the Bennetts British Superbike Championship for the second year running while the TV moves. And once again, we've had a fantastic round finish that we have for the past couple of years. But boy, what's the sense right into the end because there's the Tommy Bradwell. McCamp's Yamaha squad as third position then for
the Tommy Bridewell on the Honda Racing UK. Well done, Tom. 112 times on the BSA podium, 26 time here at Manchester. Second position then, that goes away from Randy Ray. 22 times now on the BSA podium this year. 55 in his career and a 40 on Ramsdale for Randy Ray. But Danny Kent, 1 year on from winning his debut race here at Ramsdale. He got his third win of the season, a fourth career win, and a second year at Ramsdale for Danny Kent. And Tim and Sonia Martin on behalf of the Marseille McCann Yamaha squad get these two awards as well. So now, ladies and gentlemen, your respectfully to the race winners, national anthem. As he said many times, he also the World Championship winning career. Danny Kent is British national anthem, and he's just about to get a little bit with navigating Prosecco. And Tim and Sonia, thanks once again Tim and Sonia for doing what you've done for British Superbikes over the years. Absolutely wonderful career, and we'll always be welcome back here. Well, Danny Kent, the rider, Tommy Bridewell, we went right the way through the season. He's had his twists, he's had his turns, and he's had his tribulations as well. But making a successful title defence and taking the 2025 Bennetts British Superbike Championship. The champion can run!